to either accept.
Your options are to approve the new map, to send the map back to P&Z with instructions on change, or to send the map back with no instructions.
we can,
Or we can do
or
it.
you can ask us to alter the, as long as you're doing less on the map than what's on the map, I can go back and have Region 12 draft a new map for your consideration without going through the public hearing process again.
How much more time is all this gonna take? We've been going on for how long, Shirley? Almost a year now. I mean,
All right, Council, are you ready to make any recommendations?
I'll make a recommendation to keep...
Excuse me, first we have to close the public hearing. I need a motion to close the public
So
hearing.
moved.
Is there a second?
I'll second.
Call for a vote. Councilman Muska?
Yes.
Ready?
Yes.
Berger?
Yes.
Hanson?
Yes.
Motion carried.
I'll make a motion to keep the west side of the road as Ag 1 and go back to the original recommendation of the 20-acre parcel being residential R3.
Repeat that.
That's wrong.
All right?
That's wrong. It's got to be the east side of the,
I'm sorry, the east side of the road, the 80-acre parcel on the east side of the road, Ag 1, and the 20-acre on the west side, residential R3.
Can we override P and Z? Do we have to take this back to them and have them okay it before we can pass it?
It would be the logical thing to do,
That's
give
fine.
them an opportunity to review.
But then that's taking more time to at the same time.
That would allow Mr. Menser and his wife to build a home.
That's true.
That will,
But you're also telling P and Z that what they've done all the time that they spent on it's been working.
If we're going to have to go back and draft a new map,
That's
it would be
right.
logical to give them an opportunity to look at the...
I'm not disagreeing with what you're saying, it's just that
So in effect, though, we're just talking about one alteration of 80 acres.
Of 20 acres.
Yeah, well.
Or whatever that figure was.
Keeping the 20 acres in the plan as it's proposed, the only alteration would be the 80
how do you guys feel about
east
it?
of.
No, that's not
How do you
quite,
feel about it?
it's not quite right either.
no. I know that our comment's over, I just, could I speak or not?
Yes, I have a motion on the floor, but we have to rescind it because it's not, we can't do that. We'll have to have
Yes.
P&Z.
I'll rescind that.
So we need to reject that then, this instruction?
That's up to the council if you're rejecting that and sending it back to the P&Z with your recommendations.
You would reject the resolution on the
Right.
table, and you would send it back with a recommendation.
With the recommendations, Brian, perhaps, that just recommended that.
Now bear in mind, if you go back and you want a certain specific area, we have no legal description of that area. If you're gonna get that narrow,
20 acres?
yeah, we're gonna have to have legal descriptions and stuff included, and then I'm not sure how they're gonna put it on the map, but
Is
this
that
is for
so
the future.
difficult to get a
So
legal
that you all,
description?
well, so that you all know, this is 20 years down the road, so we can be able to see this and understand it, so.
Well, the 20 acres is already included in the plan, so that really doesn't, alter any of that. I don't understand where
At
you're
that point,
so...
just looking at subdivision at that point, right?
Yep.
Subdivision? We're not having a subdivision. You better speak if you can.
Can I speak?
Yes, you may.
Sure.
Number one, we're not proposing the subdivision. That is not part of it. The only thing we're saying we would agree to, or that we proposed, was approximately 20 acres. If they wanted to do that, that'd be fine. But leave the rest the way it is. I showed them on that map, and at the time, I said that I would go out here to the ASC office, or FSA now, and I'd have Brian Beach take and draw a map of exactly what it would be and give it to him. And I would still do that. That isn't a big deal. I don't know, do you have a legal description of every little parcel there? I guess I don't understand quite what Shirley's saying here.
You want to speak to that?
When you have certain areas of town that you can see, well, turn around, look at the map behind you and tell me how descriptive that is. But if we're going to go down to specific spot zoning of certain areas, I don't know how we're going to depict it. I'm asking you.
But we're not spot zoning this. We're just saying we agree to this portion
Well,
to be rezoned.
would you like to tell us how you'd like it zoned, and maybe you'd like it zoned R2 instead of R3, or
Well, surely we can be silly about this, so we can try to do
I'm
something.
asking because it would be contiguous to an R2, otherwise there wouldn't be any R3 there, George. So we're asking for your description to take it back to P&Z. I need to know what to tell
That's what
them.
I would ask the council to make a recommendation of what you'd like to see happen here.
My understanding would be you'd be agreeable to the 20 acres.
Well, or whatever that is from that line. I'm not exactly sure.
More or less, and
Yeah.
leave the 80 acres as...
Leave the 80 acres and the rest of that 40. See, there's a whole
Right,
120
right.
acres there.
Okay. I would make the motion to turn it back to...
Go ahead.
I would make the recommendation to return this back to P&Z with the recommendation of the 20 acres plus or minus, realizing that's a full 120 on the west side of the road, and leaving the 80 acres on the east side of the road as agriculture, and having the...
You got it split, but
Okay, the 80 acres is on the east side of 6th Street.
West side.
west side.
West side.
No, 80 acres is
No, it's on
on
the
the
east
east
side.
side.
East side of the street.
We're all messed up now.
No, I-
East, west, east drive out there.
Okay, the 80 acres is on the east side of
I think
M50.
everybody
Yeah,
knows what
54.
we're trying to...
Yeah, they do.
The 80 acres...
There's 40 acres here approximately. This is a 40 right here. We offered as a compromise to come right down there from that line and zone that as residential. So I don't think it'd be quite 20 acres, it'd be more like 15. I don't know, you'd have to measure it off. And then leave the rest of that 40 as agricultural. And if that's gonna be too big a problem, forget it. Just leave it agriculture.
And then the east side also as agriculture, is that
Yeah,
correct?
Yeah.
That 80 acres,
Right.
east south of the country club.
I don't really see why we're changing the designation of the country club.
It's a permitted use within residential too.
Okay, I have a motion on the floor.
Doesn't make any sense.
With
Number
that
one,
description,
be residential.
20 acres more or less, with the balance of that being left in ag for the east 80.
Do you have that drawn?
Back for consideration to
Is it?
Is there any question or discussion?
Need a second.
Second, call for a vote.
Councilman Brennan?
Yes.
Hanson?
Yes.
Lefkow?
Yes.
Brennan?
Yes.
Motion carried.
Thank all of you for your comments and for being here,
Good, and thank you for,
and all of the work that the P&Z committee does. Thank you.
that was,
Well, we thank the council for your consideration.
And there's some difficult decisions, but we all got to work together for the best. So, item number 4 is citizens' opportunity to address the council on items not on the agenda. Are there any?